Good evening and a very warm welcome to Television Tonga's News Bulletin for tonight. Making headlines, this morning's deliberations in the House raised concerns over the extra fees charged by Tonga Development Bank to the Westpac Bank former customers on the islands of Hawaii and Ewa. Ministry of Infrastructure seized MV Pulupaki's operation and a 22-year-old man died in Mabao after committing suicide. These and more stories later on in this bulletin. I'm Fatai Fenga with the details. The Honourable Minister of Finance and National Planning, Lisette Akolo, announced that the government will face a huge loss after a decision made by the Westpac Bank of Tonga to close down its branches in Ewa and Hawaii. The Honourable Finance Minister revealed this during this morning's deliberations in Parliament after concerns were raised over the huge number of civil servants in both the islands who used the Westpac Bank for their pay and for loan.
This comes after concerns were raised in Parliament by the People's Representative for Ewa, Sonia Fili, and Hawaii 12, Mo'alefi Now regarding this matter. The Honourable Minister of Finance told the House that all the costs and loss are affecting the government given the extra fees charged by the Tonga Development Bank to the former customers of the Westpac branches in Hawaii and Ewa. Mr. Akolo told the House that previously the Treasury transfers the civil servants' pays via Westpac, and now with the new procedure, government will transfer it to the Tonga Development Bank. The extra fees are applied to the cheque payments, which the government will have to cover the cost for these transactions. The Honourable Finance Minister says it is clear the government will suffer from huge loss given the transactional methods in which the Treasury Department is not willing to cover these costs. According to Mr. Akolo, an alternative is to pay the civil servants directly and not go through any financial institutions. The Finance Minister also spoke of the government's plan to have its own commercial bank, which will help the government in administering its funds. He told the House the government's fund is estimated at 150 million per anga, which is deposited in all the commercial banks. Government funds are from civil servants, Provident Fund, the Retirement Fund, and also government's other investments. According to the Minister of Finance, if the funds are deposited in government's sole commercial bank, when they will find a way to make the funds available for the public as they are public funds. However, the concern raised by the People's Representative for Ewa, Sonia Fili, and for Hawaii, Mo'alefi Now, is due to the high fees that the Tonga Development Bank is demanding from the former customers of the Westpac Bank. Mr. Fili also announced the House that the fees from the TDB is 5 per anga for any withdrawal from the bank using the Westpac account, ranging from 500 per anga or any lower amount. Also, a 10 per anga fees are charged for those who wish to withdraw more than 500 per anga from their Westpac accounts. In a statement from the Westpac Bank of Tonga, they have partnered with the Development Bank to continue its banking services for the people on both islands. Banking services includes withdrawal and deposits of large amount of money, also undertake range of foreign currency payments and transactions. At the same time, Radio Tonga News has contacted the office of the Tonga Development Bank, and the acting managing director, Lita Kami, was unavailable for any comments. Meanwhile, the governor of the Reserve Bank, Dr. Ngongo Kioa, together with the acting managing director of the Tonga Development Bank, Lita Kami, met up with the members of parliament to discuss this issue. Radio Tonga News will follow up future developments on the issue.
The MV Pulupaki Inter-Islands shipping operations is currently on hold. It comes during the MV Pulupaki's loading of its cargo and passengers last week in Pangai, Hawaii to sail to Nuku'alofa. The Marine Department of the Ministry of Infrastructure stopped these operations due to MV Pulupaki did not complete the requirements for its seaworthiness. Linda Filiai reports.
The decision to put a hold towards the operation of the MV Pulupaki was based on a survey conducted last month to review the worthiness of the vessel. According to the CEO of the Ministry of Infrastructure, Ringo Fa'aliu, this is part of the ministry mission to ensure the safety of the passenger. The letter was issued from the Ministry of Infrastructure to hold the vessel's operation to the outer islands because it is not worthy to travel at sea. MV Pulupaki's travel permits end on midnight August 27th. Those who conducted the survey said there are some requirements that need to be concluded by the MV Bulubaki before it sets sail again. In the meantime, Tuiwata of the water shipping line says the decision made by the Marine Division prompted problems to its usual services throughout the islands. The decision made by the Marine was personal. This is because they issued a letter to hold our operation in their own misinterpretation that we set sail without a qualified captain on board. But there was a captain on board the vessel and he obtained Class 5 tickets who's proven qualified to travel a vessel with cargoes and passenger that weighed more than 500 tons. They wrongly interpret that we set sail illegally on Tongan waters. However, at the end of the day, what they did was unreasonable. Meanwhile, passengers of the MV Bulubaki in Hawaii say this matter have caused problems to their means of transportation. I had witnessed the list of requirements needed to be fulfilled by the MV Bulubaki. It was nothing to do with the engine of the vessel. However, this has caused disruption to my family's plan. We had cancelled our plan to travel to Tongatapu by ferry due to the problem. We therefore had to wait on the vessel until it resumes operation. Similar issue was also raised during the Parliament's deliberation by Hawaii No. 12 representative to the House. He says a petition has been submitted to the House in regards of this matter, but the acting Speaker of the House says that this issue should be submitted in a separate agenda to be discussed by the members. In the meantime, the acting Prime Minister Samir Vaipulu told the MPs that the reason why the MV Bulubaki was stopped from its normal operation because the vessel has been proven not worthiness to set sail with any passenger or cargoes on board.
A 22-year-old man has died yesterday in Matamaka, Vava'o after taking his own life. This was revealed by the Superintendent of Vava'o Police Station, Inspector Netane Falakseni, to Television Tonga News this morning. Inspector Falakseni says the post-mortem has been completed and the deceased has been released to the family. This is the second suicide case in Vava'o for this year. Sinlalto reports.
Inspector Netane Falakseni said the deceased is Sosaya Atuala from Ta'anea but lived with her sister in Matamaka. Police reports showed that the deceased was last seen between the hours of 6 yesterday morning and 6:30. The deceased drank kava with friends at the Free Church of Tonga Sunday evening. The following morning, before early morning service, another person saw him standing at the church compound under a tree and dressed for church. During the morning service, another person walked out of church and saw him around the same area but had already committed suicide. The superintendent said investigations is still ongoing to find out why the young man had committed suicide. This includes the questioning of a young woman in Matamaka amongst other residents. Right now, we're still investigating within the area, questioning close relatives and friends to see if there was anything in particular that he was upset about. Those who have been questioned, including the young woman whom he liked. We're searching for his mobile phone too to see if he texted anyone to give us a lead on the investigation. Right now, we're trying to get information leading up to his death. Inspector Falakseni urged related groups and organizations to work together in trying to create youth activities that would engage the youth and to acknowledge them to know what they are worth. He also advised youth that suicide is not the solution to any of their problems.
The Archbishop of the Anglican Church of the Diocese of Polynesia, Dr. Winston Halapua, and members of the Church of St. Paul this morning marked the beginning of a renovation work to the church building. This was according to the church's warden, Sione Mola Mafi, and Anasi Falekano was there and filed this report.
The Archbishop, Dr. Winston Halapua, unveiling the left wing of the church that will face renovation work. The priest warden, Sione Mola Mafi, says this is part of developing the church. The extension of the Nuk'alofa Anglican Church building on its western side. St. Paul is one of the oldest church buildings in Tonga, which was built more than 80 years ago. Also, the extension of the church will help to accommodate its members as it has begun growing from year to year. This is one of the elderlies sharing her opinion on this renovation. The extension work will cost the church about more than $250,000 pa'anga. The approximated time for this renovation is by the end of the year.
The people of Nuafo'o during the weekend commemorated Nuafo'o High School's 24th anniversary. Radio and Television Tonga's correspondent on the island, Bensimani Tonga, reports that the celebration also marked the new milestone in the school, which is establishing and setting up a new library and equipping the school's new computer lab. He says this is part of the ex-students' effort to ensure that it can cater for their Form 7 students. However, the Thanksgiving service was led by the Free Wesleyan Church, Reverend at the island, and also present at the commemoration as the guest of honor was the island's government representative, Saya Manu. Fa'i Noa Whanua has been announced winner of the Tonga Communications Corporation promotion draw in a joint program with the Fiji Airways. Mrs. Whanua won a return ticket to Asia. Her return ticket was presented by the manager of the Fiji Airways office in Nuku'alofa, Lovely Maka. Anasi Falekano was there and filed this report.
The winner of the Tonga Communications Corporation's promotions with Fiji Airways Fa'i Noa Whanua receiving her prize from the Fiji Airways manager, Lovely Maka. According to the manager of the Fiji Airways, the winner requested her ticket to travel to Australia instead of travelling to Asia. Meantime, the winner, Fa'i Noa, thanked both companies for granting her an opportunity to visit her children overseas. The estimated amount for this promotion is more than 1,000 pa'anga. Meanwhile, TCC Acting Sales and Marketing Manager Tusi Faletau gave away T-shirts during the presentation this morning. This is part of the company's community services to the public. Nasi Falegano for Television Tonga News.
That's the local news. Pacific is up next.